Yeah, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to use Google Colaboratory for now. And then when I will tell you when we change to use the software you want us to use. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
This
so
one, how will I get this
yeah,
Google?
that's why I'm here. That's what I'm going to show you. Now, in this one, what you need to do is go to your drive. Now, in the drive here, there is a folder I shared with you. Then inside that folder, which is this particular folder you have here in Classroom, and in the folder of Classroom, this is where your name is. And here we have Python. Then when you get here, this is where I want you to work on. It's inside the folder I shared with you here.
Mm.
So now, once you open it, whatever we are going to be doing, any practice you want to do, I want you to do those practice here. The reason is that when you do this practice here, which is Google Colaboratory,
Okay, is this already open already? Okay.
yes, it's already in that file I shared with you.
Okay.
So this is it here. Now, what any code you do here, assuming you're having a problem, I should be able to come here and see where you're having a problem. So
Oh.
yeah, this is exactly what you are going to be doing. So for me, I am going back to create a new. I'm going down here, and then probably I will need to open it up where I want, and I'm going to go here. Then I'm going to create a new folder. Then with your name. Then I want to show you practically how you create it now. So I want to create my own. You will be using this to practice. Then I
Okay.
will be using this to teach you. So
Okay.
once, yes. So here, this is the folder I want to put it up. So I am going to open this up here and go to more, and I will see Google Colaboratory here. So I
Oh.
will click on it, then I will create it. So once I create that, that's going to open up like this. Now, why do I want us to use this? This does not require you to make a lot of installation since you're still beginning, since you're still learning how to do it. So
Okay.
I want us to use something that is smaller and we go on to complex things. Like I showed you the last time, some of the code I have practiced with others and what I taught them. So I don't want you to go into complex things. So I want us to start from the beginning. Now, you see here that
Okay.
we have, this is where the name is located. Now, this is file. This is where you can locate in your drive, open in background mode, then new notebook in drive, then copy, download. You can download it as normal Python language or IGPMB. You can print it. This is edit, this is view, this is insert, runtime, tools, and help.
Okay.
Now, here is where you can share, like assuming you want to share this code with somebody. Yeah,
Okay.
so you can share it by entering the person's email. Like if I put this code with your email, automatically it comes in and I will share this with you. Now, this is where you connect. So before your code will run, you need to connect here, and that is,
Okay.
yeah, is you are going to be online to be able to work with this particular one because it is Google and it is automatically synchronizing. Then
Okay.
another thing is that it automatically save. You can see here, it automatically save. So whatever you do saves automatically. Now third one is that it run with your virtual distance. So you can see here it have connected. You can see connected, and you can see everything here. Now this is also integrated with AI. It helps you here. So we are going to be talking about it. But one thing I always tell people is that AI is good, but AI will not think for you. There's a do different thing. It can help you get whatever you want, but it won't think for you. For example, if you are going on a street, if you are driving a car, and then you see in the middle of the night that nobody is passing on the road, and then traffic light is showing you to stop, nobody is there, and it is counting 1, 2, 3, maybe up to 99. So AI will tell you to stop because it is programmed that at this count of time stop. But your normal brain will tell you continue because there is nobody coming, the road is safe, so you don't need to
Yes.
stop. So in some instances, AI will help you, but it won't think for you. So when you are designing a particular thing, it is better you understand that and know that this is what you can do yourself and this is what AI can do for you. So like I said, Python is designed to be readable, but like I said, it integrates just normal English language and integrate aspect of mathematics. Then the next thing is that you use line. You can also use semicolon and parentheses as related to Python. Then there are rules like rules of indentation, the rules of white spaces. There are a lot of rules which we are going to deal with: the comma, the parentheses, the column, and rest of them. So this is what Python rely to work on. Now, for example, we are going to start with these basics. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is syntax.
Sorry, sir. If I want to submit my assignment,
Okay.
how will I submit it?
So on this particular code,
Yes,
right?
yes, for example. Yes, sir.
You come here on your own. You can see where you're working here. You see what
Okay.
I told you here. Whatever you need, come and write it here. Once you do those
Okay.
coding and everything here, I can view it at any point in time. So
Okay.
you don't need to submit. So once you are done here,
Oh,
you can just tell me on WhatsApp that you are done. Then I
okay.
can come
Okay.
here on my own and see what you do. If there is any need for me to comment, I will comment on it and you will get the
Okay,
notification
sir.
that I commented. So this
Okay,
is
sir.
where we'll be sharing this until we are good with the basics. Then that is
Okay.
when I will be wanting you to submit to your GitHub. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so from the beginning, like I said, we have syntax. And basic syntax is that they are built-in function. Normally, if you say A is equal to 4 and you say B is equal to 5, and then you can say something like print A plus B. Now, if you run this code, for example, you should be able to see 9. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yes,
this
sir.
yeah, this is small rules mathematics rule. Now if you say print this 9, so next time if A is equal to 6, you just need to change the 6 and you can see you have 11. I'm really sorry about the noise. I don't really know what is happening. Yeah, so but you can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, so really, really sorry about the noise. Okay, so like you can see, so whatever you do there, you automatically it becomes like a way.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, it becomes like, you see the way I automated it. So I can also say if I want it to be minus, let me say I want to print. Now printing is a built-in function that gives you your output. It's a built-in function to give you output. So here you can see here I have print a plus b, print a minus b, print a multiplied by b, print a divided by b, print a floor b, print a that is modulus b, and print a raised to power b. So if I run this code all, I should have all the reply coming like this. You can see the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one, the seventh one. Now, what if somebody asks you again next time that I want to get this value for, like I want it to be 5. Now, because it is you can reuse it, all you need to do is to make effect on this. This remains static, and if you run this same thing again, you can get a different answer. So it will be that 5 minus 5 is 0, 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 1 in floor, it is 1. 5 raised to power, that is 5 percentage modulus 5 is 0, and 5 raised to power 5 is this. So now, these are certain things you need to understand before I now proceed to talking about.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
After that, A is equal to 6, B is equal to 5.
Okay.
You wrote print into bracket A plus B. Then you didn't type orders. You just put it into.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The AI integrated. I didn't type it. That is why I told you about this. Do you see this?
Yes. Okay, you
Yeah.
press that one now.
Yeah, I just pressed tab because,
Tab.
yes, tab. I just pressed tab because it helps me make this code faster here. So it is integrated with that AI, and that AI helps me get this thing fast. That's what happened.
Okay.
Yes, I
That's fine.
press tab on my keyboard and that completes that
Okay.
aspect. Yes.
All right.
Okay. So this is just like a basic things you need to do.
Okay,
So
sir.
yeah, so this is like a basic things you need to do. And then I'm going to the next thing now to tell you something again. Now, for example, I want to put up your name and I say that these are now I'm going to talk about the rules. Print a built-in function, and then I want to put your name here. I want you to print your name. Now, if I run this code, I'm going to have your name.
Okay.
Now, I want to teach you basic rules now. And the basic rules now is that I'm going to click on this. I'm going to paste the same code I copied. Now, the rules in Python is that you see here, I use 2 parentheses. Let me zoom a bit to be bigger. If you see here now, I'm using, you can see here, this is a parenthesis, that is the brackets. You can see here,
Okay.
and
Yes.
then this is a double quote. Now, if I remove this thing like this, you can see automatically it is showing me red. And if I run this code, I'm going to have an error. The
Okay.
error is that syntax error. There is unmatched this. This is not complete. So I'm trying to tell you certain rules you need to understand now.
Okay, sir.
This is not matching. So now you can see that this is having an issue because this rules doesn't match. So it have to start with parentheses. So in that
Okay.
way, I have to put parentheses here. Now if I run the same code again, you will see that it's going to print your name. Now the rules is that it have to start with this open and start closing it up here. Do you see the first
Okay,
rule?
sir.
Yeah, so when
Yes,
that
sir.
rules is applied, that become true. If not, it become false. And when it become false, you're going to be having an error. Now
Okay, sir.
the second rule I want you to understand is that here I am going to remove this quote, single quote, and double quotes, one of it. If I run this now, automatically I am going to have an error because this
Okay, sir.
is also not matching. Is that
Okay,
okay?
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
so
sir.
these have to start with the double quote. And then if I run it now, that is going to work. Now the second thing I want to talk about is the single quote, which is exactly the same as the double quote. Now if I put this here a single quote and put this one a double quote, I am going to have an error because it is also not matching. Now this is the rules I want you to understand in Python. The basic rules I want you to understand in Python. So you can see how I have a syntax error.
Oh,
Now, the
okay,
rules
sir.
is that either I am using a double quote or I am using a single
What
quote.
single? Oh,
So I am going to remove
okay.
this and put a single quote and I'm going to run it and that is going to work perfectly. So you see here,
Okay, sir.
single quote, double quote.
Okay,
Now,
sir.
what am I saying? I've told you about parentheses, which is open and close brackets. I've
Yes.
told you about single quote and double quote. So whatever we are going to write, you are going to be using anything you put inside here, like you can see. I put up
Okay.
this and then I run it. That's going to give me this file I put up here. You can see here. So even if
Okay.
so so I put this thing up, and if anytime I run it, that is going to give me this.
Okay, sir.
Is that okay?
Yes,
Yeah, so this is like a basic things, the rules you need to understand. Here I use single quote. Here I'm using double quote. Another thing I showed you here is aspect of brackets. So I put open and close brackets, and it is working or it is not working. So this is what I just want you to understand about the syntax. I need you to get this and know that anytime you are working with Python, this open and close brackets is needed. This single quote and double quote is needed at where they are needed. Yeah, so we will be going to bigger aspect of it, but this is the basics that you just need to understand. So for now, we are not doing into Python aspect of installing our system, so we'll be using this until we are good and have basic understanding. Then we proceed to other aspects like I showed you last time. So we're going to be using PyCharm, and then we're going to be doing advanced programming on that part. But for here, I just want you to understand this aspect. So inside here, you can put other things like you can put comma. For example, if I put a comma here, there is no problem. If I put up,
I'll put figure.
yeah, you can put figure here. uh, you can see here anything that is inside this double quote doesn't have,
Okay.
yeah, you can see here. And then if you run this, it is not a problem because
Okay.
this is inside the double quote or it is inside the single quote. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah, so this is just the basics you just need to understand these rules of the syntax and know that it works that way. So if it is not like that, you are going to be having an error. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, you're going to be having an error and you're going to be
And there
struggling
should, sorry,
with
sir.
it. Yeah, go
And there
ahead.
shouldn't be space between print and the bracket.
Here, yeah, this
Yes.
is, you see the way it is going to run and give you this.
If there's space.
Yeah, if there is space between them, yeah, it is not a problem here. But I'm going to tell you where you need not to put space, where you need to put space. But the whole thing is that
Okay.
it is not a problem this way. You
Okay.
get what I'm saying? So we are going to talk about this when we'll be talking about instance and rest of them. So we're going to be talking about all this part of this space. But the whole thing is that as you see here, it is not a problem. For here, yeah, so you know a problem now because there is space between them. So but to clean up your code, if you look here, you see that this is now independent and you see that the color of print is not, you see the way it change.
Yes. Yes,
So
sir.
because it is a built-in function, so here it is now not is a built-in function. Now another thing I want you to understand is that any of the built-in function you hover over it, that automatically explain to you what you mean. Like for example, if I bring this print in here, you see the way I put up my mouth, this, it is now telling me that built-in function print. So now if I hover it over your name like this, so like this particular one, if I take it to A, it is telling me that it is an integer. A is an integer, 5. We're going to different types of data. If I hover it over this, it will tell me that A is an integer 5. Here, B is an integer 5. Then here, you can see that each of time I wanted to know what that means, I can hover over it and it gives me that aspect. So this is what I want you to know, and this is we are just basically talking about syntax. Now I think you get this very well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I am going to add another test. Now I am adding a test. I click, when I hover over this, you have code, you have test. I want to add test. Here you can add text, you can add picture, you can add numbering, you can do a lot of things, which I'm going to show you, because sometimes when you're writing a project, there's a project you might have. For example, you want to work on a project that will be computing bearing and distance by entering the coordinate. For example, you can design the project in such a way that you can share it with somebody, your classmate can use it to compute their bearing and distance. You understand such kind of a thing. So you can design this in a very good way that it makes it look nice. So on this, I want to put Python. We are going into Python indentation. Now, in the simple term, in a simple term, so indentation on its own is simply it is the space at the beginning, like it is the space at the beginning of a code line. Now that is what we call indentation. Now it is very, very important, because let me also write it. It is important because it indicates a block of code. Now, this is just like a simple example explanation. I want to tell you that it is important because it indicates the block of code. It indicates the block of code. So you can see here indentation, Python indentation. So we talk about certain like syntax, the rules as applied to Python. Now we are talking about in the Python indentation. Now, the example of Python indentation is, for example, anything you put in front of the code, it shows the block of code. Let me give you an example. Don't worry, I've not taught you if, but let me use if. And now, this is a simple example of indentation. Now, you see here now that if I run this code, I'm trying to make a logical this thing, and then I say, for example, if 5 is greater than 2, don't worry about this, I'm going to explain that. Print 5 is greater than 2. Now you can see that when I run the code, it is showing me that 5 is greater than 2. So what if I say 5 is greater than 12? What will happen? It's going to run like this. There is no reply, there is no feedback, because this 5 is not greater than 2. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Now, what do I mean by indentation now? Indentation is this space here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I told you, it is a space at the beginning of the code. It is important because it indicates the block of code. Now this shows us the block of code. If I remove this space between them like this, and then I run this code, I am going to get an error, and the error is that indentation error.
Okay.
Do you get that now? So this shows us the block of code. Now the second thing is that, why is it that when I put up these things and press enter, you see here, you see where it started? Now, do you see the whole thing where it started? Then if I run this code now, it is going to be an error. But when I put this here, you see this, and then I return back here again, when I press enter, it automatically gives me this indentation. Why? Because this automatically works with this. So it automatically knows that once this comes in, the next thing that is going to happen is an indentation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So I am trying to make a logical analysis. Like I say that if 5 is greater than 12, then print 2
Two
because
is greater.
so yeah, so if I run the code, because 5 is not greater than 12, I will not have a result.
Okay, sir.
Do you understand now? So, but
Yes, sir.
when this statement is true, let me put 50 here. If 50 is greater than 12, print 5 is greater than 2. This thing here doesn't matter. Whatever you put in here, we can say here and we can mention your name here. For example, we can mention your name here. So whatever you put in here works for you. If this statement is true, automatically it will print what is here. Now, this is an indentation. So I am going to use, for example, I am going to use S. You know, is either true or it is false. Print. So let me use my name. Now, I said, you see this here? We have this, sorry. Yeah. So if you see this now, you see that I am using our name and I said if 50 is greater than 12, then it should print your name. If not, print my name. So when it check this now and it realizes that 50 is actually greater than 12, what will happen? It will print my name, your name. Now, what if I put it like this? What will be the result?
It will be your name.
Yes, it will be my name because 55 is not greater than 12. Did you understand that now? So
Yes,
now,
I understand.
yeah. So what is the function? The functions, what created this is I am using a logical if, and I'm also using S, but indentation is what I want you to look at here. I'm going to talk about if and S very well with you. But what I want you to look now as at here is aspect of the indentation, the spaces between them. Because if I reduce this thing back and I run this same code now, you see that I'm going to have an error because there is an indentation error. And it expected indent block after S in the line statement 3. You can see it here. So it is telling me that I'm supposed to have indentation. Now, indentation, once you select the beginning and press tab, that automatically gives you an indentation.
Tab.
Tab.
Oh,
Yeah, that automatically give you an indentation. And when you run this code, that is going to be that's going to be okay. Is that okay?
yes, sir.
Okay. So another way, another thing I want to show you is I've explained to you about indentation, and then you understand indentation. So another thing we might need to talk about a bit is, well, I'm going to talk about variable here before we proceed to, we are going to main variable, but there is something I want you to talk about as related to a bit of indentation. Now, what I want to talk about is here, I want to copy this code and put it here. And I want to use here as x is equal to, let's say x is equals to 4, then y is equal to 20, for example. Now, and I say if x is greater than y. Did you understand what is here now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now a variable is simply you assign value to something. Whatever it is,
Okay.
it can be x. So what do I do here? I assign value x, I say it is 4, and y, I say it is 20. So what I did is that I assign value to it. Now, when you look here, you see indentation. I assign x to 4, and I assign 20 to y. And I say if x is greater than y, then print your name, s, print my name. Now, this is a little bit of variable. I'm going to talk about treat variable with you as a topic. So we're going to talk about it. We know the rules of variable, what we need to know about variable, and then you understand that now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is this aspect. So x is equal to 4, y is equal to 2, 20. Then I say if x is greater than, so you look here, you see that I just go straight and input these values here. But in this one, I declared it. So it means at any point in time, if I want to make changes, I will just come here and make the changes and I will run the code. And then that is going to get it done for me. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so don't worry about variable because I'm going to tell you about variable, and then in variable we are going to extensively do well on it, and then in that way you should then understand what it means to have variable, the types of variable we are going to have, the rules of variable and rest of them. So but I am just trying to let you understand indentation as related to this and why do I change it, because I might just be using this and then I will start using this and then you will like, why do I use X here? What is the connection? But just know that this is a variable and we are going to treat it very well. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Do you have questions so far? Or should I proceed?
You
You're
can
good.
proceed.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, the next thing I want us to talk about is comments in Python. So I'm going to click on tests and I'm going to write comments. We're going to talk about comment in Python. And in talking about comment in Python, so what we need to actually know is that in comment, comment starts with, for example, comment can start with this, and then in this part, everything that is in that line become rendered as useless. Like not useless, it rendered the line as a comment. Like it won't be able to work functions
Not
as
part
code.
of the code.
Yeah, it's not part of the code. So it means that, for example, if I say here and I say print your name, if I say print your name here, now if I run this, it's going to print it. But when I completely put this in front of it, it won't run again. Do you understand? Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so once you put up this, you see it is working, but this is a comment. So when you have a code, you run this like this, and it starts with that. So but once you want the code to stop running, you can comment it by putting this in front of it. And that automatically render that code as a comment. Is that okay?
Okay, sir. Sir, what's the usefulness of
Comment.
comment?
Okay,
Yeah,
now,
not
yeah, comment is one. Comment is used when you want to, let's say you want to make a clarification on the code, you will use
is it
comment.
for those people reading it?
Yeah,
The
for
end user?
yeah, for people reading it. Now, for example, um, if you don't have comments, sometimes you might not really understand what maybe somebody is saying or what you are trying to say at any point in time. Maybe you are trying to explain something to people. If there is no comment, then probably people might not be able to understand what you're saying, like what you're trying to write in your code. So you use comment to make example of, like,
Explain.
yeah, to explain it. Like if you look here now, you see that in this particular code there is no comment. So probably if I share this particular code with you, which I write here, you can see different, this is for land use, land cover, and if you are not good enough to understand this, you can see automatically that there is nothing here for you to understand. Like, why do I put value 333? If you don't know about what I'm doing here, you won't be able
Yes.
to now explain what I am trying to do here. So but with this comment, I am able to do. This was the last this is the last assignment I gave
You
to
are teaching
the
us
other
in
beginners.
where I'm doing
O-
IT.
Okay.
How to do
Okay, yeah, so we're going to get, yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, so this comment helps anybody who is reading this code understand what I am trying to do. Why am I putting those things there? So it is necessary you
okay.
put those comments to now explain to people reading it. This is why you are doing this type of thing. So if you
Okay.
look at most of the code here, you see that some of them have a comment which I am individually trying to explain. This is what we are doing here. Like you can see here, I this like a title I use in MATLAB with labels, You can see here. So I am using that to actually explain to the reader what I mean by each of
So
these
those
things I
those
am doing.
subtitles they are comments.
You say?
Those subtitles are they comments? Okay.
No, this is like a
Plus
subtitle.
one.
Yeah, this is what I want to show you as a comment. Now, this is a code that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create this, for example. Now, in the first one, I put this is a comment, a plot one, which gives me this plot one. Then anybody who look at plot 2, we see that you can see Collins here, you can see the Collins
Yes.
here, plot 2. Then if you
Yes.
look at plot 3, you can see Kingsley here. This is the details of plot 3. You go to plot 3. So this comment helps anybody understand what I'm trying to do here.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you look at each of the code, you should be able to know that this is what I am saying there. I am saying this or I am not saying this. So anybody can read and then understand what I'm trying to do there by reading the comments. So but if there is no comment, the person won't be able to say this is exactly what I am doing there. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is why comment is very, very important. Now, another reason why you need comment is in some way that you're having an error, you want the code to stop running, you can just put comment on it
Okay.
and it won't give result again. Like example, I don't want us to talk about S. I just want us to talk about print. Now, if you look here, if I run this code, you see it is showing your name. Now, if I change this thing to 120 and run it, it is showing my name. But I don't want part of my name to work again. I will comment it. And then the code will still be there, but it won't be working again. You see now, there's no result.
Okay.
I've commented it. I don't want that code to run again. So I have actually stopped it from running. So in that way, you prevent that from running. So a comment will use that once this thing is in it, it render it like a comment and the code will not work again. So I want to uncomment it and I will run it now and that is going to work perfectly. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, in comments, a comment can be in the line like this. There is no problem. You see here, it works.
Yes, sir.
You see in line 1 and line 2. A comment can also come in this part, which is going to come like this. This is a comment. You see, I place it at the end of the code. Whatever that is from here to the end become comments. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
It comes like this and it's also coming like this. You see the difference?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is a way you can make a comment. Now, another example I want to show you is that to stop the code, like I told you, you want the code to stop working. Now, this is a perfect way of making what I'm saying. So I am putting up your name here, and then I want to put my name. Now, you see, if I print this, both my name and your own name will work. But if I don't want my name to come out again, just comment it and it will just be your own. You get this point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so both of them is actually there, but that is not going to work again. So once I comment my name, it is not. If I comment your own name right now, that is going to stop. So I'm going to run this, and then this mine is going to come out in here as an output. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so now another thing I also want to tell you that a comment can be more than one line. For example, I can say this print name both mine and yours. For example, now what I'm trying to say is that it can be more than a line. It doesn't matter. Once there is this in front of it. It doesn't also see, you can put it a space, but once this thing comes automatically,
Okay.
yeah, it become a comment. Is that okay?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I am going to talk about another aspect of comments again. Now, this is another aspect of comments. Now, a comment is going to use this type of way. Let me give you an example. If you want to make a comment on this, you can put 1 to 3 and that automatically make render the rest comment. You go down and put, you see everything have changed to comment, but when I put 1 to 3, this other could come to life. So anything you put in between this become a comment.
Oh,
Did you get that?
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
this code 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, this quote you see here, as long as they are within those places, it is automatically going to ignore it, and it is going to ignore it completely, as you can see. Anything you write here,
Okay.
you can even copy a note and write here. You can go to internet, look for something like this. I'm going to copy all this, and then I'll turn back like this and paste it inside here. As long as it's within this and this, it automatically looks like a comment. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but if it is not within it, like for example, if I come here and put the triple quote here, automatically you can see that this code here has been activated. You can see what happened automatically. So if I run the code here, if I run this now, it's going to print out this other code. See?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because it's before it was a comment, but now it is no more a comment. You can see automatically it printed this code. This is the functions of this code, and you can see print my name and their name. It comes under it. So I'm going to delete this because I don't want us to start having conflict on this because it's not part of it. Yeah, so you can see it here automatically render this as a comment. So this is a way you can work on a comment, and that is going to work effectively. So now if you go in, let me copy this, copy, and I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to change this thing to 1, 2, 3. I'll delete this, and then I'm also going to do the same thing 1, 2, 3, and then I'll run this code. Then you can see automatically it is also a comment. What am I trying to show you? You can use single quote or double quote. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is it about comment, whether it is a single quote or it is a double quote. So these are ways you can get that done. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So we have talked about indentation, we talk about syntax, the rules,
Yes.
we talk about the comments.
Uh, Comment variables.
Yes, yeah, a bit of variable. So we talk about comments. So, do you have any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So, like I said, you need to be practicing this and it become part of you. So, I am going to proceed further because we still have our time. So, I'm going to introduce new subtopic in Python now to you, and the topic is
Okay.
now variable. Is that okay?
Variables.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
So we go into the tests, and I'm going to put it and I'm going to write it variable. Now in variable is actually, it is a container that we use to store data. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it is a container for storing data values. Now, what do I mean by a container that we use in storing data values? You remember when we were here, I use this to store these data. It can be
Yes,
many
sir.
datas. This X can be the coordinate you obtain from surveying, like you go to the feed, you use it in storing them.
Okay, sir.
You go to the
Okay, sir.
y, you use it in storing them. Now, in this rule, you create variable by, a variable is created the moment you assign a value to it. So once you assign a
Okay.
value to it, it becomes a variable. Now, a practical example is x is equals to 2, and then y is equal to, let me use your name. Now, if I say print x and y, is going to print your name, and it's going to also print 5, because I have assigned this value into it. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you look at this is an integer. Do you get that? And
Yes, sir.
then this is a string.
Okay, sir.
Now, the difference between this is strings, this is an integer. And do you know what is float?
Float, yes.
Yeah, give me example of float.
Float, float 1.5.
That is great. So this is just the whole thing. So you can install this as an integer. You can store it as a string, as a string. So you can also install it as a float. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to ask you a question.
Okay, sir.
What happen if I replace this x? What will the what will it print? You see what happened here?
X is equal to 5. X is equal to 3.
Yeah. So what do you think that will be the result? If I say print x,
It will bring the 2, I
uh,
think.
no, it will not be the two,
Mm.
because these
Okay,
have,
it will override it.
yeah, these have overwritten this.
Wow.
Yeah. So it means that, but what if I use it like this? I use capital X. What will happen? What will be the
It,
answer now?
it, 5. 5 will be the answer.
Okay, so this is a rules of variable. That is what I want you to. This is what I want you to understand.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So automatically, we are going to the rules of variable. Yeah, but I just want you to understand that a variable, once this and this is not the same thing, so automatically it recognizes that. So if I want to print your name, then I will have to print this, and that is going to print your name. To put the capital X, and that's going to print your name. Now it must not be X. It can be A. It can be, yeah, it can be capital A. So if that happen, if I run the same thing, so it have to be A or capital A, whichever way it is. It must not be X and Y. When I was in school, we always look for X. So at some point in time, I was thinking that X is a particular built-in number that you must use X. You understand what I'm trying to say? So every time you say find X, you do another one, you say find X, find X. So I was like, maybe the X have a particular this. Why don't they use W? Why don't they use Y?
Yes.
As in B, I'm not seeing them using O. So why are we using X and Y, X and Y, X and Y? So I'm trying to say that in this case, it is not like that. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I want also to tell you about casting.
Casting.
Yes, yeah, a casting. If you want to specify the type of data you want to use, you use casting. Now, example of what I mean by casting is that I have an x is equal to, I'll put string, then I'll put open, and then we use for. Now, and I have another one which I'm going to say y is equal to, and I want to specify it as an integer. So I am going to use this to give you example now. Now this is a string. This same thing I put here is equal to the same thing as this. So once you put up a number in this, it become a string. Now what do I mean by string? This particular thing you see here, is the same thing as me writing something like this. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
So the strings is a built-in function str for identifying, you can look at it here, strings and object. So it creates a new strings from the object given. If encoding or error is specified, then the object must expose the data buffer that will be decoded using the given encoding and error handling. So the whole story I want you to understand is that when I use this thing is the same thing as this.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so it is like specifying the type of data using these strings. And you can see float here. Because I use float here, it is now 4.0.
Okay.
Do you get it now?
Yes, sir.
So even if, look at the strings now, I want to put 4.0 and run this code. Because I've said it is an integer, it will still bring out this. Because I say even if you like, look at this, I'm going to make it 4.1233 anything, and I will run the code. Because I said it's an integer, it must only put it in an integer, not like a float. Is that okay? Okay. So now another thing I want to tell you, this is what we call, let me put a short list of high on it, so that when you will be going through it, this is casting in Python when you're talking about variable. So this is casting. So this is casting. So and I want to talk about another thing again. So I'm going to add a test, and let us talk about a bit type of data.
Type of.
Data, the type of data. How do you access the type of data? Now to access the type of data, let me use this as your name. Let me use this as your name, as you see here. So when we say type here, it is going to access the type. You can see here telling us it's an integer, it's a string. So by using print type x, you know the type of data that is there. Is it okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So even in floats, like let me use z, and then I'm going to put this as that, and then I will come here and say print type z, and then if I run the same thing, you should be able to see that the class, the type, it is integer, it is string, and it is float. Is that okay here?
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how you can assess whether it is a string or it is whatever it is. Once you use the built-in function type, you should
Type.
know,
Okay,
yeah,
type.
yeah, you should know the type of data it is. Either it is strings, it is a. So do you get that now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a bit. Let's talk about the rules of variable. So I'm going to put up the test again, and I'm going to talk about rules of variable. So now, when you are creating a variable, there are certain rules that you need to understand while you are creating a variable. Now, one of the example you need to understand is that when you are creating a variable, I'm going to be using your name. Now, the first thing you should understand is that variable must start with a letter or underscore. Do you get that? It must be a
Yes, sir.
letter. A variable cannot start with a number. Do you get it? A variable cannot start with a number. A variable can only contain alpha and numeric keys. A variable must also be case sensitive. A variable cannot be one of the Python keywords. So what I mean is that if I want to say name, I'm going to put your name here. Now, you should also know that the name is not the same thing as what things you see here. You see name and name is case sensitive.
Hmm.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
It's case sensitive. Okay.
Yeah, case
Wait.
sensitive in the sense that it must be the same, it must be case sensitive. Like case sensitive is that here I started with capital letter, now I am starting with small letter. So if I print the same thing, it's going to print your name because this and
Oh.
this are not the same thing. And you should also know that this, if I print your name like this and say equal to, and I put your name, then I go down here and say print name. Now if you look here and you run this same code, you should understand that they are not the same thing.
Print.
Yes.
Okay,
So
but why is it now printing instead of the capital letter?
because okay, let me use my name because I use the same thing. So let me do it like this. You get this now?
Okay, that means we can use capital letter to start a variable.
Yes, you can use capital letter to start with it. But what I want you to understand here that the rules here is that name are not the same thing.
Okay.
That is what I want you to understand. That name are not the same thing because variable is case sensitive.
Okay.
Do you get that now?
Yes.
So that's what I want you to understand. Python is case sensitive. The name are not the same thing. So that's the first thing I want you to understand on this. Now the second thing I want you to understand is that it must start with letter or underscore. Example, a Python variable cannot be 2 equal to name. It's not possible. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
No, sir.
This is not going to work.
Oh yes, because it's figure. It's a figure.
Yeah, it is a figure. But the other way around is going to work. Like putting check.
Oh,
Putting checker here is going to work. So what I'm trying to say is that you cannot start Python with like A10 to 9. You cannot. You get what I'm trying to say?
yes, sir.
Or you cannot start Python with print is equal to checker. This is a built-in function. You can't use such kind of thing. It's a built-in function. The print is not going to work. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So that these are different aspects I want you to understand as related to variable. So you can start something like do name here. This is going to be wrong. You can start it with something like this, but you can start it with something like underscore. Do you
Okay.
see it now? Then you can start
Yes,
it.
sir.
You can also start it by putting. Let me copy. You can start it by putting a bit home and put my, you can put my name underscore, you can see here. Then
Yes, sir.
you can also, you cannot do something like this, like my name and put hyphen and put name. This cannot work. Is that okay? Then you cannot
Yes, sir.
also start it by my and space and put your name like this and say equal to and say your name. This particular one is wrong. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
This is also wrong. Then this is correct. You get what I'm saying now? So this is correct. Then this is also correct. So this is what you just have to have in your mind. Don't put space in between them. And then you can do something like this. You can put it in my name like this. This is okay. This is correct. Is that okay? Yeah, so this particular way I use now, it is called camelCase. This is called camelCase. Case. Now this is called snake case. You can see it. This is called snake case. All of them are in small, separated by underscore, so it is called the snake case. So each of them you separate it by underscore, you call it snake case. Then we have PascalCase, and the PascalCase probably looks like this. Each of them starts with capital letter. It's called PascalCase. Okay, so this is PascalCase, sorry. The PascalCase is supposed to be M, like this. camelCase is supposed to start with the capital small letter. The rest can start with capital letter in between them. Whereas the PascalCase have to start with capital letter for each. So like M, my name, like this, is equal to your name, is going to be the PascalCase. So this is majorly the case you can have when you're talking about variable. My name, start with small letter. The in-between rest of them can be camelCase. Snake case have to start with small underscore. Then this case doesn't matter, but you just need to like know that this is what you're doing at any point in time. So this is a way you can assign. This is the way you can work with variable. Whatever value you want, either it is a long node, you can copy a long thing and make them a variable. It doesn't matter. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we are going to expand the variable. We are going to make the variable more complex. We still have 7 minutes, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we can use that 7 minutes to start up something and then maybe we'll
And
continue.
so that's number 5 and 7. They are the same thing.
In number 5 and 7, no, they are not the same thing. This start with small letter, this start with big letter. Do you see the difference?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so since we have time, we are going to be talking about variable, and we are going to be assigning. We're going to be assigning multiple value. So this is what we're going to do. Let's start with this. And then when we are assigning multiple values in variable, it simply means that we can have x, we can have comma y, and we can have comma z. And then we are going to use our name like this. And this is the way you can assign multiple variable in Python. Did you get what I mean now?
Yes, sir. X, Y, Z.
Yeah. Okay, so let me repeat. We have x, we have here, we have an x, we have y and z. And then we assign the first one, the second one, and the third one. And we say print x, print y, and print z. So in this case, we are assigning a value into it. This means that I am putting x, I am putting y, and I'm putting z in it. Yeah, what is the problem? It says string object is not callable. Why? Okay, let me type
Why?
this.
Why is not there?
Yeah, y and z is equal to 532 6 run the code. This is correct. Then go here, print x, y, and z. Run it. Okay, so I think so I'm wondering why it is saying it is not callable. Let me use X.
Maybe it's not complete.
No, it isn't supposed to be complete for this to run. Village people, sometimes it works. Yeah, so this is example of what I'm trying to say, but I just wondering why it is saying it is not callable. Did I use print wrongly on the up here? Why did I use that print? Because Python is an interpreter. It goes line by line to interpret what you have. So anytime there is an error, it will flag it. But I wonder why I'm having this as not callable. I think I use print somewhere there, and that was the problem. So let me kill this, change root time, let me kill it, return back again. I think does it have no single reason for not running? Okay, let me try to reconnect again and see what the problem seems to be like. Let me run it again and see the color of the problem. So I'm still having that same issue. Try something different. Go to create new one. I will delete it after now. I used print before, and because of that, print is a built-in function. Remember when I say print is equal to I put print is equal to, so let me show you what I mean, because it's definitely supposed to work here. I assign print as a value, then that was why it is not working. But if you look here now, it's definitely going to work. Okay, so let me connect. So you see, this is what I mean here. The problem was that I use print then here when I was trying to explain to you about the built-in function, that is the Python keyword. So it is not telling me that it is not callable because of that particular print I used there. But yeah, you are seeing this now. Let me do the same thing here. Now I use string. Now I am assigning multiple value to this. Now XYZ. Now the rules is that whatever you're assigning, whatever is in the right hand side should be equal to the left hand side. What do I mean? Any variable you declare here, make sure you have the same value. This is wrong. If you run this, you are going to have an error because it is not enough value error. You have 3, but you have 2. You're expected to have 3 because you declare 3 variable here. You're supposed to have 2 here. So this is the rules. Yeah, so if you want to add another one, you can add your name, or let me add my name. So this will make it break, and that is going to work. Now, in printing it, you can see here that this, which I'm going to copy and add new one, and I'm going to paste this. Now, if you look here, you see that here I have cancel. It printed 10 to cancel. Now, if I put these things in this way, I can go down and print it like this, and that is going to come in the same line. You see the difference between them? Here I make it print x, comma y, comma z, and that's going to print it this way. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So one more last thing. and then we close. That is assigning one value into multiple. Now it means that if I assign x equals to y is equal to z cancel. So it means that I am assigning one value to many variables. Do you understand this?
Okay. X is equal to Y is equal to
Z
Z.
is equal to canceling. Now I don't have three things here, but here I have this. The reason is that here I use comma, here I'm using equal to. So it means that at any point in time I call x, it is going to be canceling. I call y, it's going to be canceling, and I call z, it's going to be canceling. Is that okay?
Okay, sir. Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah, so this one that I do here, we call this particular one, we call this particular, let me edit and add it up. We call this particular one as, this one is one value, like this, to many variable. So this is one value to many variable. So this is how we can assign one value to many variable. Now, sorry. This is how we can assign one value to many variable. And this is how you can assign, this is what we call unpack collection. So we just talk about unpack collection and we stop. So we call this unpack. So in unpacking, what you do here is that you go in unpack, what you do here is that you assign a particular distance. So let me give you example. Example is in the situation where you have students. So I want to assign students, and then those students is going to be like number one. I'm going to have Kingsley. Then I'm going to have Sheka. Then I'm going to have, let's say, Messi. And let me also put this in this. Remember the rules. Now, what am I going to do? Here I have X, Y, and Z. So if I want to unpack anybody, this is name list of students. There can be 100. Then I only want to see who is X in that particular listing. Then it means I can click on this and I can only access MC. Is it getting complex? Can you hear me?
Hello? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm saying, is it getting complex?
Mm, not really, sir.
Okay, so this is how we can work on unpack. By
Yes.
using this, if I want to access checker, I will just use to use Y, and I can only access checker. The rest is there. And if I want to
Okay, let me
access missing, I can use Z, and this is here.
okay.
Did you get the point
Thanks.
now?
I'm trying to go through it.
Okay.
Okay. Student is equal to this XYZ is equal to student. Print Z.
Missing.
Okay. Okay. Okay, if I say print Y,
Yeah.
okay, checker.
Yeah, if I say print Y, then I have to go with
Oh,
checker.
like the order.
Yes. So this is unpacking.
And but sir, the bracket you use is kind of different.
Yes, it is lists. Yeah, we're going into that, but because you cannot use opener, because lists is have to be a place you store collections of data. Like when you used to say there's a list of students, can you give me the list of students we have in this class? This is exactly what you're saying.
Okay, so
Yeah, so because this is, I'm going to teach you lists, sets, tuple, and dictionary. All of them have different way of identifying what they are.
okay, sir.
Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what I just need to do is I'm going to copy this, which is what we're trying to work on this, and then I'm going to put it up here. Yeah, so I'm going to put this up here. So, and I think we are done for today. I'm going to give you an assignment you're going to practice with.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so on this